So at the request of one of our beautiful collective, Amy, we're going to be doing an Ascended Master message, okay? And we're going to start at 2024. And for some of you, yes, it could have gone beyond that, but we're going to start at 2024 because I'm really I got the sense that that was when your life, or when your timeline, or when what I was picturing is like a chick in its shell, right? And you started to tap at that surface. Let me tell you right now that along with this message was service to other people on a big scale, but we'll get there. So the fact that service came out when I meant to say you were cracking through the surface of your own entrapment, of your own shell, okay? And so that's why we're going to start at 2024. Welcome to Angie Baby Intuitive. Thank you for joining for your collective Ascended Masters message. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all here. I love, appreciate, and welcome each and every one of you. So yeah, that was when you decided to get out your little mining tools and to start tapping cracking through the life that you had created for yourself up until this point. Now, going to the service of people, I was also getting that for most of your life, magic manifesting, Dharma unfolding. Remember that you're on a path, you're on your own path. We've got divine alchemy and facing fears. We've also got ancestor spirit with you. Let me go back to this for a second. Oh my gosh, I've lost my spot. Okay, no. For a lot of you, you've always been that person, right? Okay, whether it be you haven't had your own name as your title. So you've always been boss or employee, mother, child, grandchild, grandmother. You've always played this, savior even is coming, being there for people who, wounded birds, okay, wounded birds. You were the one that these wounded birds would come to, and you would not only attract them, but you couldn't refuse it. And so you would always take these people in. You felt sorry for people. You tried to repair people. You tried to help people, all at your own detriment. And this is the life that you had created for a really long time. You were the one that people could go to. And this was what you wanted to change. So coming out here, we'll start with that. We've got Dharma unfolding. Remember, you're on the path. Take one step at a time to happiness. And that is 2024. Okay. We've got earth connection. Be mindful of the planet. Come back to earth. Stay grounded. We've got love and peace. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. That is just massive for this journey that you've been on. You're protected. Cords are being cut. Wow, this is crazy. Move beyond limitation and trust. Absolutely crazy. We've got teacher awakens. You have something important to share. Follow your inner call and don't let anything stop you. Your dreams, visions and goals are becoming reality. Stay focused. Ancestor spirit, connect to your lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. And we've got move beyond current challenges, focus on what you desire. So if you look at the cards that have come out right now, it is so in line with what was coming through about the year ending 2024 and where you had come to in that period of your life. Now, it took a lot of strength. It took a lot of strength for a lot of you. Prior to 2024 also, you had retreated. You'd pulled your energy back and you had retreated not only within yourself but away from everybody and everything. And even though, now I'm not saying that you completely hermitize, because what I was getting is that you were still surrounded by these people that you were helping. You were still helping at a different capacity than what you typically normally would. Normally there was a fire within you and you would just go with the flow. You would force through. I'm picturing British Bulldogs right now. So you've got to run through the line that is in the middle of the circle, right? And that was you. You could take on anything. You were prepared for anything. But you lost that fire, you lost that spark, but you were still there nonetheless for people who were surrounding you and for people who needed your help. So I'm going to give you an example. Someone comes to you and says, listen, I'm homeless, I really need somewhere to stay. And even though you can barely function, you open your door, you prepare a room, you prepare a bed, and you're still functioning on that level. The fire is not within you, but you are still assisting people at a different capacity, okay? There was almost, when I say no fire within you, there was this emptiness. You just felt completely empty. Another thing that I was getting was you enjoyed to dress up and you enjoyed to go out, maybe to have a meal and a couple of drinks and catch up with friends or catch up with that someone special, right? And even these things got to a point where it just felt empty. There was just an emptiness within you that nothing could replace. For a lot of you also, you got so caught up in, now don't take this the wrong way, you got so caught up in where you were and in your own, it may be ego for some of you, if you can take that as a constructive criticism, or because it's not a bad thing, because you see that part of you, that part of your ego, I believe, because what I'm being told right now is like good and bad ego, okay? So that part of your ego, what gave you the fire to push through anything and get through anything, okay? But there was a point where you lost sight of what truly mattered, or what truly mattered to you, or what was truly, honestly relevant within your life, okay? And so nothing could, I forgot where I was at, but there was just that emptiness. Everything started to feel empty. It was almost like there was that good mix of good and bad ego, right? And there was, both sides of it were lost, okay? So there was this void, this emptiness where nothing could replace it. Now, that's where I was heading. Hang on a minute. So for some of you, you got so lost in that, in the life, in the doing good and feeling good about that, and having people acknowledge and recognize that goodness, that you lost sight of not only your spiritual side, but I'm not saying detached from God completely, but it was like you felt unstoppable, you felt untouchable, and so you didn't feel the need to pray or touch base with your higher self or your spiritual team because you were in a really good position, or because you were just kept so busy, okay? That's not going to be for all of you. My thing would be, take in the messages, what relates to you, what's relevant to you, and leave the rest for other people who may have gone through that period, okay? So everything started to feel empty. When that emptiness came, Nothing felt the same. We've already been through that. But everything left that you had within yourself, so whatever it was that you had left within yourself, whatever energy you had left within yourself was being depleted by the immediate people that surrounded you, okay? And it brought you to a point of, at the end of 24, it could have been the whole of 24. Again, I'm going to say take what's relevant. Beginning, all of 24, middle of 24, end of 24. I'm leaning towards the end of 24. You started to feel burnt out, exhausted, okay? And everything would irritate you. What people would say, oh, okay, you would see people around you that you had helped along the journey, and they seemed to be in a really good position, and no one gave a poop about you. And this was eye-opening. This was eye-opening. That could have happened at the end of, that happened in 2024. So the fact that this, I'm going to come back to the irritation for a minute. I want to go in so many different directions, but I want to stay focused. I'm going to come back to the irritation. Yes, burnout and exhaustion, but irritation, it would irritate you to see, and that's not ego. That is just like, hello, I'm over here drowning, and you don't have not one thought of me, okay? That's how it felt. So you would get irritated at the fact that, not that people were doing well, irritated at the fact that you had helped and given a leg up to these people around you that you saw, and no one was there when you needed it. Now, there's a double-edged thing here, because you may not have spoken about it. Okay, you're not one to go, oh, I need help and I need this, or I'm struggling over here, I'm falling, I'm losing it, okay? Number one, you're not that sort of person. Number two, people have always looked at you like, she's fine, she can handle it. Look at her go. Look what she does. Da 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 da. And so people didn't see that that vulnerability in you, that weakness within you, okay? Even though you were drowning. What they're saying, and what they're coming through with, and what they're coming through with right now, because I've already meditated on this and I'm also getting downloads right now, okay? It wasn't just burnout or exhaustion, it was alignment issues. It was, it's like I'm picturing your head standing there, and then your complete middle part of you, all of the vital parts of your, like your head, your head chakra is intact, okay? But all the other chakras are pulled to one side, and then it's just your legs. So that sort of misalignment. Now, that is the most ridiculous description that I've ever heard in my entire life, and it just happened to come out of my mouth right now because that was what I was showing. It's about alignment. You were completely out of alignment. You were stretched so far that you couldn't just bounce back like you normally would, okay? I believe going to the irritation part of things was when you started to pull your energy back from people. It wasn't like, I think people reacted to this as well, right? Because what I'm getting right now is that you didn't necessarily say no, okay? You weren't able or willing because of who you are and because of your heart, to put up boundaries at that point. But people noticed that you weren't 100% there like you typically would be. Okay. Some people reacted to that. You have to know that that was not you, that is other people reacting to this change in you. And it wasn't even change in you. You were at your lowest and no one gave a poop. No one even cared enough to notice that you had changed, or they didn't take the time to sit in reflection and go, so strong, helped me through, helped so-and-so through, helped so-and-so through. Is there anything wrong? Like, something's going on with you. I'm sensing a change. I'm sensing that you're different. Are you okay? Is anything going on? No one even had a thought for what you were going through. The longer this went on, because there is a period of time that this goes on for, this could be 2024, okay, that this whole period went on for. As the time went on, you got stronger and stronger. You were touching base a lot more with your higher self, with Earth, with your ancestors. You were touching base with that teacher within you. All of the counseling and guidance and care and compassion and divine alchemy, okay, that you gave to everyone around you, you started to give to yourself. You stopped, and that was in that period, okay? You started to concentrate on your own inner compass and bring yourself back into calibration, so into alignment. This was necessary. Right now, they are saying that this was necessary. For some of you, you even thought about checking out completely, okay? Trigger warning. Not checking out completely, okay, well, so for some of you, you did, but and crucify me for that all you like, but for some of you, you just wanted this to end. You wanted this feeling to end. You were wondering, like, what's happened to me? What's going on? Where am I? Where is my strength? Where is my inner self? Where is that fire that I used to hold? And you realized that you needed to put into yourself. You started praying a lot more. You started to talk to your higher self a lot more, your spiritual team. You started to reconnect with your spiritual self. You started to take note of the signs and synchronicities that were happening around you, even the bad ones, right? So seeing someone celebrating something and you're feeling lost and broken, and that person just has no consideration for you. Those were all signs and synchronicities that you were meant to witness. One thing you do need to know is during this whole period, your ascended masters, your spiritual team were all with you, okay? God was with you. You were in protection. You were protected. Mother Earth even giving you protection. You may have had lots of synchronicities to do with animals, or you may have had animals come into your life at that time. who gave you healing, who was sent to you to heal you. You may have had connections with certain plants or certain flowers or that sort of thing. They were sent to you for healing. Church could be significant for some of you, and I'm not talking about going to church every Sunday. I'm talking random moments of going to a church, just to sit there in God's love, where you felt close to God. This is part of the alignment process, was that you needed to feel close to God, and because you felt disconnected somewhat, you needed that place. So I'm not saying you started going to church and you continue doing that and you follow religion. I'm talking about you just needed to feel that closeness. For some of you, breaking down in the walls of God's grace, okay, in that closeness. All right. Yeah. Let's get some photos. 2025 was more like a intentional, moving with focused intention into a cocoon. Okay, so this is actually not only drawing your energy back, this is about complete hibernation. Oh, things were taken out of your life, transitioning from 2024 to 2025. Things were being taken from your life, which were divine blessings. You didn't see it as that during the period, but they were divine blessings that were given to you so that you could rise, so that you could rise, so that you could calibrate, so that you could realign yourself, realign your chakras, realign your spirit. Okay, mystery, soul journey, stillness. This is the hibernation that you went into. It's almost like you built a cocoon around yourself, right? This whole process was sort of a mystery to you, but that's two things coming from here. It was a mystery to you that you had fallen the way that you did. It was something that you didn't understand because you hadn't felt that or experienced that before. And number two, you were given access to, with your reconnection to yourself, with your spiritual self, with the God within you, okay, with the God spark within you, you were given access to that. Not that you were given access. Your eyes were opened, reopened, I'm going to say. It's just, you gained that, you saw, you began to see the connection between you and God again, okay? You began to see the connection. You began to open your eyes and feel, there we go, feel the connection again, something that had been lost to you, not lost to you because it was always there. It was that you were lost, okay? You were lost. So you didn't only pull your energy back, you moved inward, hence the cocoon, okay? Where these divine blessings were sent to you so that you could rise in this stillness. You started to see, with the River of Abundance here and Soul Journey, you started to see light at the end of the tunnel. You didn't know how you were going to get there. You just started to see and understand, oh, okay, this is just another part of the soul journey that I'm going through. Could have been a dark night of the soul for some of you, definitely an awakening of some sort, but you started to see slight shifts with these blessings that were coming into your life and with the abundance that you were now being able to focus on as you were rising. You started to replaying old movies. You started to you were starting to replay the previous few years over and over. Okay, for some of you, the decades. Okay, how you had gotten to this point was what you needed to figure out. For some of you, it was the last few years. For some of you, it was 10 years. For some of you, it was decades. You needed to see these things. That is also part of, you needed to witness these things from a different perspective, from a different point of view. You were being shown these things. That's all part of this divine blessing, right? And it went on for some period of time. You were shown how much of your life had been built on obligations, on fear, okay, on just trying to survive, on divine service even, servicing other people when you were neglecting yourself, not looking at what you needed. You weren't replenishing yourself. You were doing things out of obligation rather than choice. And you were keeping everyone else happy and doing for everyone else at your own spiritual energy expense. Even carrying other people's emotional loads, right? So, oh gosh, I'm homeless and I need to do this and I haven't got the money and I need to go here and I need to do this. And like, you carried all of that, literally. You soak in other people's energy, you soak in other people's stuff. Like, you were like a sponge. You were an open mirror that people just poured themselves into. It just was endless. You could take on and take on and take on. These are all the things that you were sort of replaying and looking back at over your life to see what it was all about, how you got to where you got to, how you could rectify, how could you change the course of things. You wanted to take a different direction. You wanted to change things. You needed to be Katie or Sarah or Amy or who, like you needed to be you. And not even in human form, that goes with it, but more you needed to be your spiritual soul self. You put other people's healing before yours. You're on every level, you're emotional, financial, your healing, your struggling, everything, your life, your spiritual self, your connection to God, your connection to yourself was all put on the to-do list, on the we'll get to that later. Let me just deal with this first, okay? Putting yourself on the back burner. You, in totality, in its entirety, you were the I have the word for it then. or the to-do list, putting it on the later pile. Damn, I wish I'd said it when I thought about it, because I had the best word for it. Look at it. Closed off, guarded, resistance, okay, and then you reunion, soul ties. So this is the transition from 2024 leading into going into your hibernation stage in 2024, your cocoon stage, where you were closed off from yourself, from all of your needs, from God, from yourself, and then you started to come back into union with yourself and your needs. You were no longer avoiding yourself, denying yourself. This came after a period of grief. So this is you pre-grief, and this is you after grief, coming back into contact with yourself. And I'm not talking about grief to do with for some of you, you could have suffered losses, okay, but I'm not talking about losses, people walking out of your life, and that those were all blessings. I'm not saying that you lost somebody, however, some of you may have, which may have been the catalyst for moving into this grief zone, okay, but I'm getting more grief for yourself. After looking back and contemplating the previous years, for some of you, you did go through a loss, okay, and that was the catalyst, like I'm going to say, but I'm getting you were grieving opportunities that you had delayed, okay, and then you missed out on. I'm talking about grieving, you know, those versions of yourself that you lived over the period that you were contemplating over, okay, if that makes sense. I'm going to try and word it the best I can. But you were grieving the versions of you that you went through. So that can be from a young age up to where you are today, and all the different versions of you that you missed out on because you were too busy being of service, or too busy doing this, or too busy doing that. Grieving the younger you, who just done what they had to do to help other people, to be of service to other people, putting yourself last. Grief for the versions that you missed out on of yourself. Those beautiful, colourful versions of yourself that was so beautiful that you didn't appreciate as you were going through it, or you didn't have the time to appreciate as you were going through it. Grief for the life that you could have had if you had have known what you know now. As we all know, you can't reverse time. But you definitely went through a period of grief before you started to come back into connection with you. It could have been things that you'd lost. Things that you'd lost. Hermit, look at that. Tower, yeah. You were even grieving people that were taken out of your life. You didn't see it at the time, but they were blessings, okay, like I said. but you were even grieving those people. It was comfortable for you. You knew where you stood. You knew what your role was. You thought you knew what your role was. You thought that you knew who you were when you were being of service, right? It seemed easier even to put off your own needs and your own stresses and your own worries. And it felt good to help other people move past theirs. Look at it, we've got the Tower, the Hermit, and the Eight of Wands. Okay, so the Tower moment, going into your cocoon, and then movement forward. Taking accountability and standing up on your, back up to your strength here. Judgment has been called, you know. Awakening. You needed to understand and come back to who you were. You needed to stop performing for everybody else and start performing for yourself, because you are, look, and we've got the King of Queen of Pentacles. For some of you, you suffered losses in relationships as well, because you just would invest so much time into other people around you. Come to a completion. 10 of Wands. Needing to stand in celebration of yourself and understand there's nothing to grieve, because you still have you. You are still you. You are a better, actually more fulfilled, enlightened and illuminated version of yourself, more than you have been in the past. This is what you come to realize. For some of you, you met someone through this process, okay, who offered the healing. For others of you, you're going to find that match that is going to make you realize who you are and what you're capable of, and to be able to allow you to see the real you. For some of you, you lost, but I don't get, look, there could have been, but I'm not getting that this is, I believe it's two of the ones that I've just mentioned. Either you were going to, or you have. For others of you, you lost a counterpart that did not match you, okay? That was that was anything that was taken out of your life in this time frame was meant to be taken out of your life. Those are the blessings that you received. God needed to remove these people from you because you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have made these steps, or you would have grown into the beautiful version that you are standing today, and you would have gone straight back to being that heart, that big heart with a set of legs that just walks around helping everybody. Part of the grief process was like, oh gosh, I can't believe I done that. I can't believe I lived like that. I can't believe that I accepted that into my life. I can't believe I stayed for so long here. Okay, you need to know that was the beginning of that timeline cracking. That was not you being hard on yourself. That was not you self-doubting yourself. That was the beginning of being honest with yourself. Okay, there was a point during this cocoon phase or prior to that, look, that when it started to crack was you started to be, you were starting to be honest with yourself. Okay, that's what happened. let's go into why. Yeah. Actually, no. No. Priestess, Lover, Tower, King of Wands. Looking back over your life. I just got looking back over your lifetimes, actually, not lifetime. Looking back over your lifetime, right, with this King of Wands here, with the sun in the background. I'm getting looking back over lifetimes now, okay? The sun rising, different lifetimes. You've lived lifetimes where you were the foundation builder, you were the rock, okay? You were the truth teller. People came to you like you've been the balanced one, the truthful one, the foundational one. The person that people come to for help, right? You've been the stabilized, you've been the healer. For some of you, you've lived lifetimes of service in different capacities, but nonetheless of service, okay? Even as far as sacrificing yourself. Again. I'm getting that you've done this many times. I'm like definitely 2, but you could have done it many times, up to 4, okay? 4 lifetimes where you were in incarnations here where you were of service to people, you helped souls, you helped people. And that's why you came into this incarnation again, to do the same thing again. That's why this one's changing. There could have been other lifetimes here where you were actually punished, okay? Punished for speaking the truth, punished for being who you were. You were judged for following your own path. And that's why you remained on this path for so long. But you're making those changes. Or you lost. For some of you in these past lifetimes, you've lost many things. Again, in this one, but like, that's why you remained in this for so long, because there was this fear of like, you know, if you chose yourself and looked after yourself, like you wouldn't have love, you wouldn't have security, you wouldn't have safety, you wouldn't have people around you, you wouldn't, this is a lack of self-worth, as a matter of fact. A lack of self-worth. I believe with the High Priestess coming out here that this is like all of what you were sort of sifting through. So when I'm talking about going back over decades, it could be lifetimes that you are starting to look at, because you need to understand why you are the way that you are in order to change it. Be proud of yourself. I love it. Be proud of yourself and reveal what needs to be seen. Let your fears dissolve. Walk your path with pride. You've incarnated here to finally get it right, to finally be able to break free without persecution, without being judged, without losing things that matter to you. Okay, so that is what this, you're not going to repeat it in this lifetime. This is the change that you're making. Even being spiritual, reaching for your spiritual capacity like that, once upon a time could have been judged. Okay, you're being free to be who you are. Be proud of yourself is what they want you to know, man. Reveal what needs to be seen of yourself. All those quirky parts of yourself, all of those the things that you keep hidden from people out of fear of because of past lives. You need to show these things. Let your fears dissolve and be who you are. Let the world see the real authentic you, because I'm telling you, you are worth it. You are extraordinary is what just came through then. And extraordinary isn't something that a word that I use much, if at all. Okay, so you are extraordinary. Oops. I'm going to take this one, and this one, because they are the three. Trust your spiritual vision. Your psychic and spiritual abilities are awakening. Trust what you are seeing. So this could have actually taken place through this process that you've been through, okay? You can read between the lines, and the information you feel rising up within you is being divine. You can read between the lines, and the information you feel rising up within you is being divinely revealed to you. Yes, it is. We have the High Priestess. The hidden is coming to sight, right? Reveal what needs to be seen. Boom. We had earlier, I forget. Anyway, let's get on with it. You can read between the lines and the information. Oh, we had rising earlier with something else. Divine blessings and rising, okay? You can read between the lines, and the information you feel rising up within you is being divinely revealed to you. You've spent lifetimes preparing for this moment. I can't believe it. And although you may feel apprehensive, you were born for this. You are extraordinary. You better believe it. Believe in the beauty of your gifts. Star being is here, okay? There is a great mystery. We have mystery. There is a great mystery unfolding at this time. All the synchronicities and signs you are experiencing are not coincidences. They are spirit-led experiences to let you know that you are on the right path. Wow. 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 Trust in this. Where you are is where you need to be. Stay committed to your vision. Become star beings, because star beings are guiding your dreams into reality. So for some of you, the Ascended Masters Council is, you know, star beings. I don't really understand the Ascended Masters, but I do, like, you know, it can be God, it can be it can be Jesus. Okay, I understand that. So for some of you, it's star beings, star beings that are guiding you. That they are your council. They are your spiritual team. We've got take time to breathe, slow down and breathe, take time to reflect before proceeding further. This is the stage that you've been in. We're going to get into 2026 now. This is telling me that now we need to move on. That what is coming out here is we're at the end of 2025 and we're going to be getting into now 2026 and where you are now, because that needs to be spoken about. You have understood your past lives, or you're going to be given this information. You're at a point now in your life where you've been in the cocoon. You've learned a lot about yourself, about the people you surround yourself with, about your choices in life, okay? And anyway, this is telling me that it's time to move on. Take time to reflect before proceeding further. You're allowing your past experiences to influence your current behaviors, and there is another way forward. Oh my gosh. You are being reminded to stay high vibrational in your actions and choices. Refrain from reacting, for this will only delay your progress and healing. Love is the way. Love of yourself. Face your own shadow. In order to contribute healing to the world and dispel the energy of darkness, you have to face the shadows of your own soul. This is exactly the process that you've been going through. For some of you, dark night of the soul, like I said, and for some of you, it's been yet another awakening. It's not that they are bad, more that there are parts of your most authentic self and story that you are avoiding and hiding from the world because you are, that could have to do with the past lives as we've just spoken about, okay? In fear of being persecuted or judged or outcast for what you believe, for what you hold, for who you are, okay? More that there are parts of your most authentic self and story that you are avoiding, and this will only hold you back from healing and growth. Face all parts of yourself now. Embrace all parts of yourself now, and let them be shown, let them be seen like it came out. This is a time of change and transition. You may feel your current situation is out of your control, but Azrael's angelic energy is here to bring you hope and strength. Healing is happening. Trust in yourself and in your prayers, for the worst is almost over and you will have a good experiences once more. This tells me it's time to move to 2026. So this rising consciousness is what's coming through. This rising consciousness and this star being connection, this disclosure with UFOs and things like that, is giving you a sense of belonging, of I knew it, if that makes sense. This is a part of yourself that you are also wanting to reveal to the world, is to speak freely about these things and be accepted for that. And this same consciousness that is changing, like if you look at 2026 and the exposure and the truths coming out and people realizing how powerful their consciousness is, and that we are consciousness and that we are all joined as one. Okay, this is a part of the energy wave that has sorry, excuse me, thrust you into this process in the first place. You felt energetically, even though it hadn't broken back in, let's say, 2024, 2023, when the cracks started to appear in your timeline, right? You felt this energy. You were preparing for this energy now. It's definitely not a coincidence, okay? You needed to be where you are, standing where you are as you are now, being in your confidence and your strength right now, because you caught that wave back then, okay? The wave that sort of, you felt that energy back then, and it sort of sent you into this change, because there is something that you're going to need to be a part of. I think we had that, excuse me, what's being revealed to you. there is something that you, or did we have something, speak your truth or something like that, magic manifesting? I can't remember. I'm not going to get stuck on those things because I'll forget what I want to say. You have something, the extraordinary part of you, the gifts that you hold, the fact that you're a star seed or a star being, right? Okay. You are an extraordinary person who has something. You needed to be, this was divine intervention. You needed to be where you are today, on the path that you are today, because you are going to be of service in a different way. Whew. You're not going to be of service to lower frequency. You're going to be of service for the higher consciousness, okay? Something like that. Wow. It's like your personal disclosure. Yes, there's disclosure coming out today, but your personal disclosure started back then. 2020 onwards. For some of you, even before, okay? It was a disclosure within yourself. And it could be to do, it's got to do with your past lives. It's got to do with your own hidden truths of what you hold. So hidden truths about yourself that have been illuminated here, about relationships that you're in, about your work or your career and what you're doing, okay? Also about boundaries, your limits, what you're willing to sort of take on, where you're willing to put your energy. All of this has been illuminated to you. This has been that period of time. Wow. Oh. Oh my goodness. You know now. You've been given the answers. You're not at a loss. Now you feel belonging because you have been given these hidden truths. I just can't believe that it comes out after what has been said. That's just crazy. It sounds very cliche, but you can't pretend not to know what you know. It's that same thing. If you know, you know. Okay? That sounds very cliche, but that's probably why it's coming through that way, so that people have, not only that, but so that I understand it as well, okay? But so that you guys understand what is being said, because you have been given information, okay? Things have been illuminated to you, and you're not making them up in your head, okay? And you know what? It's hard to think to yourself that you're making these things up in your head, because actually the collective disclosure as a collective, the disclosure that we are now outputting to the world mirrors that, right? Hidden truths like our place within the universe, the nature and the power of our consciousness, especially when we are combined, even down to like the presence of other beings here. We cannot deny what's being disclosed now, okay? And we can no longer believe that the 3D layer is all that there is, okay? So this is a realization. This is a journey that you've been on, but for you, something, we'll look into it. We'll ask about it in a minute, okay? It does feel a little bit off-putting, like it's just a lot for, I'm going to say a lot for you. It's been a lot for you to take in. That's not going to be for everybody, okay? When I say you, this is going to be for the few who have felt that little bit of excitement, but also that little bit of confusion and feeling unsettled about the whole thing. Like, it's almost like, but that's where the let your fears dissolve, okay? Because it should be a breath of fresh air for you, because you're finally having recognition. And that's funny that we've got this recognition for what you have felt and what you have thought, okay? And what you have actually sensed, and for the visions that you have, and for the downloads that you receive, because it confirms that you're not crazy. Recognizing and celebrating this new foundation, okay, within yourself, recognizing, celebrating this new foundation and this change, this death and rebirth that has happened within yourself, knowing what your, there may be this little bit of confusion and not knowing in which direction you're being called to, but you know there is a calling, because you are extraordinary, and I'm going to say it again. So you may not be there right now where you, like, it's like, where is this going? What does it mean? Like, what do I do with it? Okay, that's the phase, but you do know that there is a calling, like you are recognizing this. You also need to know the connection with your guides and higher beings and your higher spiritual team and God, and is the norm. It's going to be the norm. It's going to be a natural extension of you now, even in your human form. Okay. And the typical thing that we say, oh, a soul having a human experience, it's not, it's our, that's going to change. That viewpoint is going to change. Okay. Did we get them? Yes, we did. Let's get some of these, actually. For some of you, you're still in the early, like you're not at this, but for some of you, you're still in the understanding, okay? You're starting to recognize the calling, going through transition here. Just because you started going through the process, it doesn't mean, oh, it's going to happen in 1 year, or it's going to be like this happens and then boom, you know, everything changes. There's going to be waves of emotion, almost like that grief, because what I'm getting back now is like the grief. Okay, there's going to be shock, and then denial, and then da-da-da, and then da-da-da, and then acceptance, and then it will become the new norm. For some of you, you're still in the early stages of this recognition and understanding, or for some of you, you're actually now understanding and now starting to recognize. For a lot of you, you're bridge souls. The healer. Wow. I'm loving and compassionate and able to bring healing in others. This could be what you are, nourishing heart. Look at where we started. This has been you. Look, I'm a protective spirit and reach out to all life with love and compassion. This has been your journey. I acknowledge my inner child and open my heart to the joy she brings. spirit guides. I open my heart to my guides and trust in the wisdom that they share with me. This is lifetimes of being the healer and the one and the protector and the nurturer and the da-da-da-da-da. This has been lifetimes for you. Fear is not justified in any form. The Holy Spirit will help you reinterpret everything that you perceive as fearful and teach you that only what is loving is true. So know that the Holy Spirit is with you and going to be with you through this process. Now, if I was holding it like that, this is the bottom of the deck, but we'll take both, you know that. We'll do that and that. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. This is being disclosed to you, so it's just crazy. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. When a situation has been dedicated wholly to truth, peace is inevitable. That is 2026 as we're coming into it now, right? No one created by God can find joy in anything except the eternal. Not because he is deprived of anything else, but because nothing else is worthy of him. I love that. For some of you, you need to know not to run away from your human self, from your human, like you might try to... it's all about balance, right? It's all about balance. Even when our consciousness rises, it's all about balance. You're here to live the human experience, okay? But be awake while you live it. And you're part of your... Oh, okay. Spirit guides... Part of your calling here, the fact that it's sitting with judgment here, is to guide others through this process that you have lived through in this period, okay? However long that is, however many years it was, okay? I'm not going to go into years again, but whatever it is, you've learnt a lot. You're meant to guide other people through this in a different way, okay? You're going to be a lot stronger because your consciousness is going to be different. You're not just solely living in a human form. I find it hard to explain. The consciousness is rising, okay? It's going to be easier for you to help people. You have started this process where a lot of other people haven't, okay? You're going to be helping from a different standpoint. That's it. That's it. That's how I'm going to say it. There's a question that you want to ask. What do I actually do with all of this? Okay. What do I actually do with all of this? Yeah. What do I actually do with all of this? What is my purpose? That's funny. Okay, what do I do with this, and what is the purpose of this extraordinary person or people? Okay, because it can be numerous. First thing I'm getting is like staying grounded. I'm also looking at the Two of Swords right here on the bottom of this deck of cards. So, discernment plus, okay. This one, oh my gosh. There's a lot that is going to be, you know, with the disclosure, okay, there's going to be a lot of red flags or false flags or whatever they call them, okay, a lot of lies, let's just say it like that. During this disclosure, there's going to be a lot of things that come out. You need to use the discernment of your discernment with the knowledge that you have been given. This is when the time is right, okay? With the knowledge and wisdom that you have been given in order to decipher through what is real and what is not, okay? What is truth and what is not. Oh, frigadella. What do I do? What do I do with this? Okay, the Star and the Queen of Swords. Six of Pentacles, give and take. We've got the Hierophant. Man, I don't think I need to say anything else. You will or have an extraordinary spiritual essence, okay? A divine spiritual essence within you. Not everybody has this. This has been given to you. This was brought towards you, birthed into you, if you like. And what are you to do with it? Yes, stay grounded, okay? We've got the Hierophant here, and I'm telling you that it is about healing and helping people on a different level, from a higher consciousness level, okay? Stay grounded, and there's going, as with this disclosure that I'm talking about with the Two of Swords and that coming out, right? So as more information sort of rolls out and new energies start taking shape, information from media and from the collective as a whole, new experiences that you sort of have that are led to you, okay? Take them as signs and synchronicities that you have. You have to remember that you are a human for a reason. There is a reason. I want to know why. Do not neglect yourself. You need to eat properly, rest properly, move, keep yourself moving, touch base with Mother Earth as we had coming out here, okay? Partake in breath work, yoga, whatever sort of keeps you calibrated, whatever keeps you aligned. You cannot repeat old habits and old ways of being. That's why you've been taken through this tunnel in the first place, is because you needed to learn. You needed to be built. You needed to be stripped down and rebuilt to put you in a position to be able to be this spiritual teacher, this spiritual leader, this spiritual there's a word I want to use for it. It's like you're sitting with your legs crossed, levitating off the thing in a golden whatever, right? This is the level of what you are. You're meant to speak the truth to people, enlighten people as to who they are and what they're capable of. This is about give and take of yourself as well, okay? So you can't forget that you're in a human body. That is the balance that I was talking about just before these cards came out. Was like looking after your human side, but also growing and expanding your spiritual side. How can you carry more light if your body is going to break down, right? Also keep in alignment the inner work that you're doing and the expansion that you're making on the inside of yourself needs to communicate with what's going on around you. That's confusing, makes no sense, but that's what's coming through. One of you is going to understand it, or someone is going to understand what that means. Don't let anything take your power. Okay, that's really funny that that comes through because I've done a reading, right? Even though, okay, you may speak to your higher self, to God, to your ascended masters, to your spiritual team, okay? They are saying that you need to, oh my gosh, this just says it all. Trust your spiritual vision, trust your spiritual self, trust your spiritual, internal spiritual guidance, okay? So don't even hand your power to us, is what's coming through. I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about them saying us. So don't even hand your power to your spiritual teams or to people who you believe are above you, right? Even to God, okay? He is within you, don't worry about that. That's why you need to trust yourself. Do not hand your power over to anything outside of yourself, not even us, okay? So that is coming through. Wow. Guidance from us, and I'm going to say whether that's, again, God or whatever, galactic beings or whatever it might be, they're here to support you, the extraordinary you, okay? They're here to support the extraordinary you, not to replace your own knowing, because you know. You'll feel it in the centers, like in your running through your chakras, right? You're gonna you know. You know. There is always a solution of the highest good. I can release ancient pain simply by feeling it. We were just talking about it and then boom, it comes out. I measure my success by how much fun I'm having. This is so in line with what has come out here. Do you know what? Oh my gosh. Again, with this, I just looked at it after I was going to say, you know, the truth can challenge you sometimes, okay? And then I looked back down at this card. That is just crazy. But the truth can challenge you sometimes, but you need to feel. You know what feels right and what doesn't feel right. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. And also while you're revealing, okay, while you're revealing the truth, it's important that you live it. Don't just speak it. Don't just talk about it. Live it. Okay? That's coming through. Consciousness getting expansive and expanding the way that it is and is about to on this planet isn't just about, oh, grand ideas and doing this, and it's about the choices that we make, how we move forward with this expansion and understanding and wisdom of who we are and at what, you know, what we are capable of. You have to think about it, and when you're living it, right, you're choosing to walk in the truth, to listen to the truth, to talk it, to walk it, okay? You're choosing that honest, you're living that honesty now. You're having real energy exchanges rather than the performing ones like we had earlier, you performing, okay? That is ascension in action, okay? This is the process. You know, when we're talking about it's not going to happen over 1 year, something grand's going to happen and then boom, it's going to happen in a year. No, this right now, even what you're living is ascension in action, okay? The changes that you're making, the choices that you're making, the pulling back of your energy, the moving forward in a different way, okay? This is the ascension in action. Guys, this is like at 1 hour and 20 right now, and I'm sure that it's getting quite boring. So let's grab, thank you. I wish I could keep going, but yes, we're not going to. I open myself to new experiences and honor my body with love and respect. This is what it's all about. You know, you are that extraordinary. I'm telling you that you know within yourself. You just know. I just don't even have to say it. You just know. I know you know. I create positive actions through the cycle of change, but I open myself to new experiences and honor my body with love and respect. This is what your whole journey has been about. Whoever's reading this is for. This is your reading, guys. If you resonate, please pop a like on the video and share it for other collective to be able to receive this message. Thank you for bringing your energy through to bring these messages through. If you resonate or you vibe with my energy or you want to become part of our soul collective here, please subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to stay up to date with messages that come through, please hit that notification bell. It is an absolute pleasure as per usual. Thank you again. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Spirit. I really do love, appreciate and welcome each and every one of you. That one's for you, Amy. I hope it resonates with you on some level. I really do love you guys. Take care and I'll see you in the next one. Keep shining.